Section 31 writing task is to write a letter to a nurse in charge of rehabilitation on behalf of a patient, Mr. Richard Jenkins, who was admitted into the hospital on 7 September and had diagnosed with unstable angina. Here you are a charge nurse where Mr. Jenkins was admitted and writing this letter to a nurse in charge of the rehabilitation. Let us look into the case note first. This is simple and very straightforward case note. There is not too much information given, so most of the information provided in this case note are relevant and should be mentioned in the letter. But you can avoid few numerical values regarding his respiratory rate and BP because that is not required. Since you are writing a letter to a nurse in charge of the rehabilitation, you can say all about his family history, his medication, diagnosis, symptoms he had, etc. in the letter. The only information you can avoid from the case note is needs referral to a dietitian given in the discharge plan because we are writing this letter to a charge nurse of rehabilitation. So try to frame the letter in an organized manner so as to maintain the continuity of the letter. Taking all this in points, we have to prepare a letter in an organized manner. Now let us see how we can write a letter with the help of a sample letter written by a candidate from India. The address and date written are correct, but while writing the date you must use 2-digit format and then it becomes 07 September, 2019. The salutation and reference written are correct. Moving to the introduction paragraph, I am writing to refer Mr. Jenkins, who has been treated for unstable angina, requires ongoing care and support from your service, which is perfect. Moving to the second paragraph, Mr. Jenkins was brought to the emergency department via ambulance with complaints of chest pain and chest heaviness. He was admitted and stabilized with nitroglycerin patch. Electrocardiogram and blood test was done for him. Presently, he has been recuperating well, which is also a perfect one. Moving to the third paragraph, Mr. Jenkins has 2 children and they live nearby. He has had gout and hypertension for which he takes medications. He had fracture on his left leg and joint and has family history of joint failure and cardiac failure. Here, the social background and medical history is perfectly blended and written in a perfectly organized manner. Moving to the last paragraph, in view of the above, kindly monitor Mr. Jenkins' blood pressure and maintain medication compliance. Encourage him to perform exercise as he is obese. He needs to continue his medications as prescribed. He would be benefited from a referral to a dietitian. Here all the relevant information are written, but there is a small change in the organization of the sentences. Here the second and last sentence should be clubbed together as they convey similar ideas. Moving to the wind-up sentence, kindly contact me if you have further queries regarding Mr. Jenkins, which is also perfectly written. The sign off written is correct. This letter scores for an easy 350. Thank you.
New method for OET learning. How are you preparing? Online or offline? For speaking and writing, you can get tutor reviews. How will you be able to manage your reading and listening? How can you manage your self-practice easier than ever before? Learn OET in Merlin's way. Most successful OET learning method from world's best online trainer. Chat now, mentormerlinexam.com.